It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Preparing the
Infographic. Hello everyone, my name is Ethan and welcome to my infographic cultural presentation that I am doing on Romania. And Romania is a European country home to over 19 million citizens, which is about 1/17 of the population here in the United States. And I will go ahead and begin with the crisis that is currently happening in Romania. And that is basically a bunch of protests against the Romanian government, and its citizens are actually protesting against the government due to weak administration and also the government's attempt to weaken the judiciary. Now, these protests have been going on for a couple years now. They started in 2017, and they're currently still happening in 2019 now. And there's also an incident involving a 15-year-old girl that called the government's emergency number, which is 112. Basically, it's like 911 here in the United States, but for Romania, their number is 112. And she actually called that number 3 times, and the government either didn't respond at all or responded extremely slowly to the situation. And she was actually found 19 hours later after she had called the government's emergency number. Now, the citizens of Romania were already mad at the government, which is why they were protesting in the first place. And the incident involving this 15-year-old girl only made it worse because basically the government allowed her to be killed due to the government's slow response time. Okay, and now I'll go ahead and move on to whether Romania is a collectivistic or an individualistic culture. With the score of 30, Romania is considered to be a collectivist culture, and this means that most individuals invest in close long-term commitments to the groups such as maybe their family or their extended family, or really any group they're involved in. And these individuals also take responsibility for one another within their own group or groups. So basically, instead of people mainly caring for themselves, like in the United States, for example, the United States actually, I believe, scored a really high number. I believe it was in the 90s instead of Romania, which scored 30. But anyway, the people in Romania care for each other and would sacrifice a little comfort of their own, to help other people. And now I will move on to how ambiguity tolerant, or in other words, how the uncertainty avoidance is for Romania. And Romania actually scored a very high 90 for uncertainty avoidance, which basically means that Romanians are intolerant of different ideas and behavior that they're not accustomed to. People bear the urge to always work hard and keep busy, even if it is the same thing over and over again. And innovation is often resisted and perhaps looked down upon. So basically, there's little to no innovation in Romanian society, and people like to keep the same schedule and routine. Not saying it can't happen, but just saying that innovation is uncommon. Okay, moving on to whether Romania is a masculine or a feminine society. And Romania actually scored a 42 out of 100 on the masculinity-femininity scale, meaning that the Romanian culture is more feminine than masculine. Now, the score is pretty close to a 50, however, and that basically means that there's a mix of competition throughout the society and also caring for each other and quality of life, with less competition than there is yearn for quality of life. And now moving on to power distance, which Romania scored a very high 90 for power distance, and this basically means that these citizens have they have a certain place in society that does not need any justification. Everyone understands where they stand, and they don't really question it much, if at all. And individuals lower on the scale know that they would be told what to do, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they also expect it as well. Now, there are many stereotypes that Americans like to characterize Romanians by, and let's see, one of them is that stuff is cheap in Romania, which is partially true, but not completely. The food in Romania, for example, is pretty cheap. You can get a nice 2-course meal for about 11 to 17 US dollars, which was converted from their currency to US dollars by Google. And however, if you want to buy clothes or gas, these items are a bit pricier. Another stereotype is that Romania is unsafe. For example, perhaps one might be prone to getting robbed or cheated, especially by taxi drivers. Now, that was decades ago, though. Now, Romania is a much safer place, and people are much more friendly than they used to be. People are willing to help visitors, and taxi drivers are also can be very friendly as well, way more than apparently they used to be decades ago. Okay, and now moving on to Romanian traditions. One tradition that Romanians follow is called Mucenici, I believe is how it's pronounced, which is celebrated on March 9th of every year. It's actually a Christian holiday that marks the feast of the 40 martyrs of Sebaste. And on this day each year, it is common to eat a certain dessert dish consisting of boiled dough and is actually seasoned with walnuts, cinnamon, and also sugar. This tradition is mainly practiced within the southern regions of Romania. Another Romanian tradition, which this one is probably pretty disgusting to most people, is called pig slaughter for Christmas. And around Christmas time, a pig slaughter is carried out in many households. The interesting thing about this is that literally every part of the pig is used for something. The pig's blood, for example, is collected and used for cooking in dishes such as blood sausages. And the pig's hooves were traditionally used to make buttons, and the hair was utilized to craft brushes and toothbrushes. And now, quickly, the vast majority of Romanian citizens are Christian. A whopping 80% of Romanians identify as Orthodox Christians. And now, last but not least, here are a couple interesting facts about Romania. Bucharest, which is Romania's capital, I probably pronounced that wrong, but anyway, Romania's capital has one of the world's most beautiful libraries. It contains over 10,000 books and 5,000 albums and DVDs. Now, me personally, I am not that big of a book person. I don't really like to read. I probably should read more, but I don't. But like look at these libraries. See how beautiful they are. Like, even me not liking books, not liking to read, I just want to come here and visit these libraries. Because just look how beautiful these are. Like, I just want to visit these libraries just to walk around and see how beautiful they are. And I think they look beautiful in the pictures. Now, imagine how that's going to look in person. You know what I mean? I just find this library, it just looks really amazing to me compared to all of the libraries that I've been to here in the United States. Now, another interesting little fact about Romania is that Brasov, which is a city in Romania, actually has a Hollywood-style sign on top of a giant hill next to it, just like in Hollywood. Now, I thought this was pretty funny, so I thought I'd include it in here. And, here's a couple pictures of it. It's actually pretty funny. It looks pretty close to the Hollywood sign. It has the same, white text and all that, just obviously it says the name of the city and not Hollywood. Okay, that concludes my cultural infographic presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed. I wish you the best of luck in y'all's classes, and I will see you in the next presentation. Whoa!